Be back at it again. One Piece chapter 1049. Surprisingly polarizing chapter. Did not expect that at all, even after reading the chapter. So I'm really excited to talk about this one today. I have Naya D. Hemmings with me. Young paperwork. What's up, bro?
I'm all right, man. No complaints.
Good. I feel it. I feel it. Like I said, this chapter overall coming into it, well, the breaks. Let me ask you, how you feel about breaks in One Piece? Does it bother you? Or are you at this point where
I
it's
feel
like,
like it's an exercise in futility to get mad of it. You know they're gonna
yeah,
happen. Just deal.
yeah,
I can understand it being frustrating, but I've been going through them for so long. At this point, it's actually
yeah,
unnatural when I get like 5 chapters in a row like that.
yeah,
Right? So so I don't like
yeah.
every 3 chapters or so. I expect a break. It is what it is.
Nah, I feel that. I feel that. That's why I preached that for a long time. Like, yo, this is part of the story now, right?
Yeah.
The breaks are going to be incorporated, and like with shit that happens to mangaka all the time, it's like, hey, man, I'd rather take a week break than what two? How many years has Hunter x Hunter been on break now?
Jesus
It's been
Christ.
it's, it's been a minute, and it still affects me. It still affects me. So if I got to take a break every now and
Well,
then,
y'all know I'm not a Tagashi guy, but
yeah, I
it's been a
know, I
while.
know you're
It's been
not.
a
I
while.
know, I know you're not. But nah, it's one of those things that's like, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. So it does affect things sometimes though because of momentum and
Yeah.
continuity. And then it does create situations like this where people are kind of looking at every chapter in a vacuum,
Yeah.
right? Where it's just like, all right, in this chapter, everything that happened in this chapter, is it good or bad? It was like, well, I don't know if it's that cut and dry, but we get to it. Cover story. We'll start there.
Oh yeah, with
How do you feel about
Yonji.
how that's been going?
Oh, the Germa stuff.
German stuff, yeah.
I kind of liked it. Kind of like, oh, like they didn't get away. Like, all right, like
Mhm.
I thought maybe it'd have been a little too easy. I do think it kind of makes the Big Mom Pirates just look a little bit better, a little more competent because they're trapped in Thing's book, right? I can't remember
It's
his
up in
name.
the book right now,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Mondor.
yeah, so I kind of like that. I want to see them get out of it, and I really thought that I always kind of thought the cover stories were a brilliant way for him to continuously tell a story
Right.
that's divorced from the actual chapter, and
Mhm.
then we kind of have some extra content there. So I actually always enjoy
Yeah.
the cover stories. I'm not. I can't say I'm like sucked in and I care about it, like it's the most important thing happening. But I
Right,
pay
right, right,
attention.
right, right.
I always point it
Yeah.
out when I'm reading it. I like cover
No,
stories.
I feel that. I feel that. That's kind of how I look at the cover stories. That's why I like when it's the cover stories and not just cover art request.
Yeah,
We Oda does that sometimes from time to time. He goes into the cover art request thing. I'm just like, uh,
understandable. But I think with especially
yeah,
with how frantic the story has gotten, I think he needs to use the cover stories to tell important things about other characters. I actually don't think he should be like shout out to you, Noda Skywalker. I always see you
yeah,
and stuff, but I think he should.
always,
Yeah, I really think that he should continue to use the cover stories for the rest of the manga to tell like other side stuff.
yeah. I think it's important to get more context with things because
Yeah,
that's something I was thinking about. Like what happened to Germa? You know what I'm saying? They were
yeah.
left there. Um, I I would always like if one time, just one time, a cover story somewhat filtered in to what's going on in some way.
Hmm.
Where it's like it ties into like what happened in the next chapter and then goes right into another cover story. But it's canon material and
Yeah.
it's filling in gaps. So I'm here for it. What's going on now with Germa though? I think I mean this was expected, right? You knew they were gonna get away in some way.
Yeah.
Not sure. I think pudding has something to do with it, right? I think she does definitely has something to do with it.
Because of Sanji's family.
Sanji's family, right?
Makes sense.
Sanji's family. Who do you think those two people are anybody but other than Ichichi and Reiju?
Do I think say it again?
Do you think the two people that they showed up in I think the last time we couldn't tell who they were? Do you think those two people are Ichichi and Reiju, or could it be well people are speculating Blackbeard or Crocodile and Daz Bones?
If it was crocodile, I would
Yeah.
pop big. It's not
Yeah.
it's not crocodile, bro. I would love that. It's my favorite character. But no, I thought it was
No,
the other Vince Smokes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the first thought. It would be a little, a bit underwhelming if it was not. It was just Germa at the end of it, even after all the hype.
I guess.
But this is like Oda's style. Like if I think it's more than likely Germa. I
Yeah.
agree with that.
I don't think he's. I don't. I try not to overthink stuff sometimes because
Right.
when I do, like I don't
That's
I
funny.
don't I
Yeah.
don't do the thing where it's like I had an expectation, Oda didn't do it, so he's trash.
I'm mad.
I don't
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that, but I definitely let myself I disappoint myself
Yeah. Right. It's kind of
overthinking
like
things. I'll give you an
fuck.
example. Remember do you remember how hype I was for like Hawkins?
Hawkins. I was
and
about to bring that up, Hawkins, and we was like, bro, like this is law, right? You gotta, you gotta realize. He's like, nah, Hawkins. I'm telling y'all, Hawkins.
Cause I
And then I
never went
think,
as crazy as everyone else. He beat him off screen, this and that. I'm like,
nah, you didn't go as crazy as Trent. No,
I never said any of those. I get
that
lumped
was
into
Trent.
them because other Hawkins fans were saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like I've always said this. Like I'll keep it short. The reason that I always really took a liking to his ability and stuff because I'm like he can create such a dangerous scenario, and it's what he did with Law and ultimately with Kid and Killer, where
Yes.
he takes somebody who's on your crew and turns them into with a life minus doll. So I'm like,
Yeah.
what if Luffy just punches him and Nami goes flying? Like that's
Yeah.
dangerous. I'm like, okay, like that's why I thought like it was gonna be cool. So when he relinquished that power against Law, it actually upset me.
Yeah.
Then with Killer and Kid, I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. But then like I thought that Oda made Hawkins look like pretty dumb, and I like listen, no one is One Piece is like particularly super genius smart all the time, but
Not
he was
really.
he's more of a cerebral character, and I'm like,
Yes.
I don't think Killer's dumb. By the way, I'm not trying to
Not
downplay
at
his
all.
intelligence, but I'm like, bro, you know how your power works. You made an alliance with him. He has a big metal arm. You know he's
Yeah.
missing a hand. What is good with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It was
couldn't
something you
believe it.
probably should have noticed. But the thing is, when that happened, a lot of people called it. That's something that I pointed out. I was like, well, Kid does have a metal arm,
Hmm.
so he could. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And that. Yeah.
a couple of my viewers said that before it happened, and I was like, oh yes,
Yeah.
you guys got it. I
Yeah.
wasn't thinking that. I'm thinking like that makes sense, but I'm like Hawkins is smart. That's
It's not
not
going to
gonna
be that
work.
obvious. But no, I think I lost faith in Hawkins after the whole law thing happened because Hawkins was one of like, I think when early Wano, how he was performing, I was like, this is amazing.
Yes.
Everything he's doing is amazing. He was competent. He was on Law's ass every single step of the way. Even when Law tried to save Luffy, he was like, nah, we ain't going down like that.
He had the little sea
He had
stone
he had the
nail.
sea stone nails. He had all this prepared.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of went downhill from there. But I think still a pretty cool character. Just not a fan of how everything played out with him.
Yeah, that's like ultimately like I'll actually don't you may not know this. The one takeaway, one thing I could really say about Wano for me is that Law's real estate has really gone up for me. I think he's my favorite
Mhm.
supernova now. I'm still thinking about it, but
Who- over Hawkins.
Law really impressed me this arc. I really
Um,
so I think he's
I
yeah.
been a law guy for a while.
I've never not liked him, but he was never like I'll never loved him as much as other people did, and I just from the rooftop I'm like. This
Come
guy's
on,
like
man.
a lone all-star on a bad
Come
team.
on,
No
man.
Beppo. No, even the Yonko came as a duo. This guy's by
Yeah,
himself. I'm like,
he's by himself,
he was
and he
going
got
crazy.
acknowledged from everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Yo, this dude," and Shock Willie is still the most surprising I've been at the actual ability.
That was
Right?
insanity.
Like it went from Onigashima down to Wano and left an insane crater. Like that is
Powerful.
nutty. It's nutty, right? So it's like, I mean, for Law, he's always been an amazing support character, and he kind of continued that in on the roof piece, and everything. But like, I think for me, his durability, just his stamina, showing that even with all the limits people place on him, with like, oh, he can't fight for a long time, he can't take damage. He's taking straight up blows from Yonko and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
getting back up, still fighting. So, nah, Law. I mean, if people didn't believe in Law before, there's no way they don't now. Because he went crazy.
They
Not-
made me a believer.
There we go.
Oh.
There we go. There we go. I'm here for it. Now, 1049, we kind of picked up where we left off with Luffy, big fist, coming down to Magma Kaido. And basically Kaido is starting some dialogue about Luffy not being able to change the world. Then we get into his backstory. How do you feel about the backstory? Because that's the main area of contention for a lot of people.
Okay, so I started to think that we were gonna get a bit of an abbreviated version of his backstory, a bit of a montage, if you will. I'm a little disappointed, but I'm not shocked that it came across like this. The reason that
Yeah.
I kind of let it go is I don't know if you ever heard me say this, but I've always said like the narrator when they kind of explain Kaido and all of his defeats and whatnot. I think I can't remember exactly what it was that he's been beat, captured by the Marines, this and that, and the
Yeah,
third,
all this different stuff.
right? So I think a lot of people are like, oh well, that's kind of garbage. And I thought to myself, if Luffy became Pirate King tomorrow,
Right.
and the narrator talked about his life, you would get similar numbers. He's been beaten, captured by the Marines,
Right.
imprisoned and
Right.
impaled down, poisoned, this and that, and the
Yes.
third.
A lot.
And that doesn't mean that he's garbage, right? It just means that he's on the come up. He had to learn. He took some lashings. He took some bruisings as he
Yes.
was growing. So I thought Kaido probably went through a similar journey. So, but when they're like, "Yo, he gets captured to get hungry," I'm like, "Well, there you have it." So like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like I answered the question, and I wasn't
Yeah.
mad at that. But I really thought that his life was like going to be really, really, really interesting because of in my own head kind of thought it would be a little more interesting. I will say that I kind of didn't expect him to kind of be like a bit of a soldier for an island, because it reminds me a bit of Douglas Bullet. Just kind of
That's what people were saying.
Yeah,
That's what people were saying. His backstory is very similar to
a
Douglas
little bit,
Bullet's.
a little bit. I think it's I guess I don't think it's completely the same. There's a lot of overlap and commonality
Yes.
there, but
Yeah.
ultimately I think it kind of serves its purpose. I think we'll get a little extra, like
Mhm.
at some point, like when it's like over, we'll get a little extra tidbit.
You get
but-
some more. Yeah.
But but I know a lot of people really wanted an extensive one
Yes.
because of the way that we got it with Big Mom. But
Right.
shout out to Pat, because Pat made a good point one time. He's like, we got extra. We really think about it. We only got such a small portion of Big Mom's life. It's mostly when she was a kid, and then we got the montage that she became a strong pirate. We didn't really
Right.
see all the minutia of all of those things, but it was directly related to the situation at hand, because she was able to take damage because we broke the picture of Mother Caramel.
Right.
That information was needed. That's why we
It was
got it so
necessary.
extensively.
Yes.
So
And
we don't need that for
it-
Kaido. I don't think Kaido's gonna be reoccurring.
the thing with Kaido is that it's not like one glaring thing like for Big Mom, right?
Mhm.
It's a bunch of things that we're not sure about. So we're like, why is this? Why is this? Why is this? And I think the main thing people are talking about is, okay, Rocks, right? The Rocks crew, what happened on the Rocks crew, and then also they did kind of hint about Wano, why he chose Wano. But I think there's more to it. But also, how did he find out about Joy Boy, right? There's certain things in there that people would like to know. So I agree with you that the Big Mom flashback was a bit more necessary. It had to be a bit more drawn out to add some more context to what's going on. With Kaido, it's not a glaring thing that Oda has to really touch on. I think it's more, I say for me, Kaido is one of my favorite antagonists so far,
Okay.
but I feel like something's missing. I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint it. I'm thinking his purpose and reasoning. I'm not asking to be sympathetic or empathetic with like Kaido and everything he's been through, but I need more, I guess, reasonings behind the things you're doing. Of course, it seems based on the backstory like Kaido is just about, hey, establishing or creating a world where people are equal, so I can challenge anybody and fight whenever I want to.
Yeah.
Right, which comes across as a bit shallow.
But I actually think that Oda like showcased.
He's been telling us that
he was like a battle maniac.
Yes,
from the jump.
Right. And the thing is, you know, as fans of manga and anime, typically you try to be surprised. You try to say, okay, that can't be all there is to him, right? There has to be reasons and I guess deeper meanings to everything. Where sometimes it's like he just wants to fight people, you know. And in this situation, I do think there's more. I think there has to be more. I think this is fine so far.
That's the thing. I think for me, this is probably like a layer. I think when we eventually learn a bit more about Rocks, and maybe when Big Mom and other pirates go down, I don't know if we're gonna actually see Sebek and stuff. I think we'll get more of the puzzle, and Kaido will be involved, kind of like naturally because he's there, and we'll get a bit more. Because I think skipping Lin giving him the fruit is significant. I want to see that moment. I think we need to see
Absolutely.
that. And I actually would like to see how when and where he actually acquired Jack and a Queen at the very least. How did he get Queen from Mads or whatever? Was he on the run? Like, I think that's pretty significant. Because we know about King or Albert.
Hmm.
And what's with some of these characters thinking you could just change my name?
Yeah.
No, my name is Naya. We're not changing it to King. This is some what's Kenshin's master talking about? My name is Shinta. Too soft for a
Yeah.
swordsman. Your name is Ken. No, my name is Shinta. Like, what are we
Hey
doing?
man, that just shows you the type of energy there was on, man. Like, nah, B, your name
He's
can't
like,
be
you're
that.
strong. Call yourself King.
He's
I'd
like,
be like,
yo, can I say my right
I
hand is Albert?
I could
Nah,
be
B, you
strong and my name
king.
is Albert, bro. The name's not making me any
Yeah.
stronger. What are we doing?
Let me ask you though, based on what you saw back then, do you think that did you think that King had conquers hockey?
No.
You didn't.
Oh, you know what? When he said you also have kingly ambitions, I kind of squinted. Like,
Yeah.
are you insinuating that you also have those?
Right.
But a part of me was like, is he talking about Kaido? Because Kaido obviously has kingly ambitions. I wasn't.
Right.
Yeah. So, I wasn't sure, but my actual answer was generally no. It was no.
Mm. Well, I think for me, like his name was King. He's the right hand. I was like, come on,
Oh,
there's
okay, I
no
got
way,
you.
right?
I got
Right. That's kind of how I looked at it.
you. Mhm.
How do you feel about Conquerors hockey? I guess in general, with like how it's been fleshed out so far in this arc, and I guess the path has traveled in regards to how fans have kind of accepted it.
I think this is gonna sound kind of backwards, but for some reason, when I think of hockey as a complete power system, when it's all said and done, I think it's gonna make a lot of sense. It'd be fine, be perfectly serviceable. My problem is I don't like how the information is generally presented to us, and I think how
Mhm.
that is presented to you goes a long way for how the audience is gonna take it. I'm not gonna spoil anything major about Katekyo Hitman Reborn, but
Mhm.
when they kind of introduced the Dying Will Flames, like properly, the Seven of the Sky, you realize that a lot of that stuff was actually ever present from the get go. You just weren't
Yes.
particularly aware of it. And
Yep.
that's kind of my problem with hockey, where it's like, if I'm going to take Marineford, for example. Maybe he didn't figure it out yet. He didn't know he wanted to showcase it, but I think we should have been seeing Fist go black,
For sure.
even if he didn't understand it yet, and we learned about it later. So what?
You could tell that that's not something he had.
Yeah.
It wasn't planned.
Because
It wasn't planned.
even for regular hockey, you would still use exposition to tell someone was using it, right?
Right. Right.
So I think in the new world, he rectified that problem by using Buso. There's a visual indicator. I think the biggest
Yes.
problem with observation and there's no visual indicator more often than not. Though I think
Yeah.
the anime does a good job showcasing it.
Anime does a good
Conquerors
job.
is so weird because when the advanced stuff happened, I actually thought he did that. When Kaido first hit Luffy and knocked him out, I'm like, what was that little trail?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
that significant?
We
Like,
all we always were wondering like, is that black trail of things? Is that something important?
Yeah.
So that's something you can tell Oda had that planned
exactly.
to do the advanced conquerors thing.
And then when we saw Roger and Whitebeard do it, I'm like,
Yep.
no, that's
Okay.
and they're not
It's
touching.
something
There's
there.
something happening. I don't
it's
know what
something
it
there.
is, but they're using
Yep.
something. And then
And he
when
used another character to point it out too, like, oh, they're not
you
touching.
touch
Right?
it,
He,
and
he
Odin
wanted
is
to let
strong,
you know.
and Odin
Odin's
has
strong as fuck.
conquerors, right?
Right. And Odin didn't know what the hell was going on.
Precisely.
Yep.
So I think
Yeah.
by the time Luffy was like, "Oh, you're quoting yourself in Congress. How you keep knocking me the hell out like this?" Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
conscious. My eyes are rolling back. My eyes were white.
Yeah.
And after you started doing like, okay, you actually did a good job showcasing this, I thought, and building up to it. And I thought personally, Luffy being able to use it almost immediately actually didn't bother me, only because of this.
Mm.
He trained really hard with Ryoyu. So learning how to like flow hockey through his body is something that he was learning to do with internal destruction.
Yes.
But Conquerors is naturally his most is the thing that's most like his affinity for the highest.
Yeah, it's gonna be hockey,
So I
yeah.
thought he'd almost like just like pressed R2 to switch like Arbit to like Conquerors, and it was like easy for him to do. It's like
It shouldn't be that difficult.
it actually
that's
makes
that's a
sense
good
to
way to
me,
look at it.
but still Kaido humbled him. Like, you just learned this, bro. Like,
Yes.
going
yes.
going to what? Whoa, no. What is falling up? I'm like, oh my god, don't do
Yeah.
him like this. So
Yeah.
it's Zoro. It's the way Zoro unlocked it that bothers me.
The Ashra in
I don't like it.
chapter 1010.
Yeah, when he fought fighting against King. That's the one. That's the one.
Oh,
that
the one
bothers me.
against King. The advanced conquers against King.
Yeah.
Not him using conquers hockey.
No, him having Conquerors hockey was never a problem because I
That's
always
surprising.
thought he had it. But it's the way that he unlocked it and used it. I thought was I just thought it was a little cheap personally.
I agree. I always thought Zoro had conquers hockey. I think I made a video like 6-7 years ago at this point saying that Zoro had conquers hockey. My only issue is that I feel like there were so many different moments where Zoro could have shown that. You know what I mean?
A
But I guess
glimpse. Yeah.
a glimpse, something where I'm not sure if Oda this was always his plan for Zoro to have Conqueror's Haki. I was like, if he didn't, it wouldn't make sense to me. Like just based off of what you said, a Conqueror's Haki user or conquering king should have kingly ambitions, all these different things. Like Zoro like fits the bill.
Yeah.
This is Zoro. But the advanced Conqueror's Haki thing, I don't think I had an issue with it because of how much Enma was pulling out of him, right? Whereas like
somebody explained that to me after the fact, where it's like they're kind of attributed because Enma forces you to you can't reserve your
giving
haki.
Everything.
Like that meter is burning. Your mana is going down, like automatically
Right.
taken by the second.
Yes.
So I by that I'm like, okay, I guess I get it, but I just thought I personally thought it was jarring.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad for me just because of the expectations I guess I had for Zoro. So just like Zoro, King's Haki user, just unlocked it in chapter 1010. Would not be that surprised if he has advanced Conqueror's Haki, just based off how Oda is going off of Haki right now.
Yeah.
But I understand when people say they were like, oh, Zoro advanced Conqueror's just that quickly, just like that.
Yeah.
But it didn't bother me much. I mean, I think overall I agree that at the end Haki will be generally a fleshed out system that people can, for the most part, understand.
But this
the road, the road there has been rough, right? It's been a journey where like we've had conversations throughout about like, okay, observation Haki, it's convenient, right? Because it works when it works. In order when in a story, that's something you want, I guess, where it's like, oh, I didn't get hit. I use observation Haki here. I use future sight here. I think Kaido pulling out future sight, one of the more surprising things, because I was like, it's unnecessary for someone like Kaido, but he showed that it does have a use. Yeah. But it just kind of added to Kaido's just fucking hype. It's like, yo, you have future sight too, bro. It's insane.
I loved that moment just because I'm like, I just thought it made sense. Like he should have it, or be able to use it. Maybe it's not natural to him, but he got it because it's just fucking hype.
Yeah, and it's so raw because he's like, you know what? I got future sight too, right?
He did it in his dragon form, right? Didn't he dodge it? I'm like, that's when you're literally the biggest. So you cover the most real estate. Like what?
Insane. Kaido's nasty. He's fucking nasty.
That's the one thing I have to say about. Like I actually like Kaido. I was like Kaido from the jump, but I'm like his like showcase and ability didn't disappoint me.
Not at all.
Like he's strong.
Not at all.
He's strong. Like
he's strong as fuck, bro. I think if anything, this chapter is almost telling us that Kaido knows he's the strongest. Like for a fact. He has no doubt.
Whoever could beat me, that's Joy Boy.
right? Who if you can beat me, you are Joy Boy. You know how crazy that is? Right?
Like if you beat me, you're the second coming to Jordan. Like you could like only someone could beat me in 101. Like
if you beat me, you are a god. You are a deity.
Yeah.
That's how confident I am in my abilities. So
even
Kaido,
when Luffy made the fist, because like he was trying to hold him and he burned him, he's like, "Don't worry, I won't dodge." I'm like, this guy.
He's like, "I'm not gonna dodge, bro. You don't gotta hold me."
He's different. I love it.
I love him for that, right?
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm so desperately craving that missing thing, right?
Because
my favorite antagonist is Doflamingo.
Fair. Here's what I say. I think you think something's missing. I just think that I believe he has one weird contradictory part of his personality that I could never get a grasp on, and I'm not sure what it is yet. Because I'm like, you like to fight and you want to fight strong people. Why aren't you doing that?
I thought about that too. I just thought about that yesterday.
That's
where it's like, I'm like, why isn't he doing that? Right? Like,
pull up on Shanks.
Here's the thing.
I
think that's the problem though. I think he's been trying, right? Because based off of everything we know about Kaido, well, when we first meet him, he's jumping off of Sky Island. Who was he looking for? We don't know, right? We know back then when Ace went to Wano, he left for whatever reason, right? Right? Just left. We know for a fact he was going to Marineford, right? Stopped by Shanks.
True.
And then if Kaido wanted to fight an admiral, he couldn't. Because they're not just going to send one admiral out there if Kaido went up to like Mary Joa. It's not one admiral that's coming out. They're sending 2 or 3 because it's not for the Marines. Like I always try to tell people, it's not about just winning. It's about winning with the least casualties as possible and apprehending whatever. It's not just, oh, we win 1v1, we get the dub. Yeah. It's not about pride. It's about just winning, just complete and utter domination. So for Kaido, he's like, you know what? For me to have the world where I can thrive, we need just full scale war, right? We need to chaos,
large scale
anarchy, because then if I want to pull up on this strong combatant 1v1, I have no issue doing that. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna get stopped by red hair. I'm not gonna be able to, like, if I want to put hands on Whitebeard, I can, right? But I think my view of Kaido is shifted a bit because I think he felt like he was the strongest, but he never had the opportunities because of all the shit that's going on in the world, all the balance, all that shit. He's like, fuck that, bro. Let's fight. That's what I want to do. I want to fight. So, with him allying with Big Mom, it's to take over the world, I think, to create that space where for you to be the strongest, you have to face him.
Okay.
That's kind of like how I look at Kaido at this point.
If you wanna be the man, you gotta beat the man.
You got to beat the man. It's really simple, somewhat archaic, but
Mhm.
that's who Kaido is because that's what he prides himself on. You know.
Okay, so
And
I have one question.
yeah,
Do you do you think you should let Odin heal and challenge him again if he really cared
I
about
did,
winning?
I did ask that question back then.
Okay, okay.
I asked that question because
Because
it was,
that bothers me. I'm not
it,
sure if he's like, well, end of the day, I have plans, so it is what it is.
you know what I'm saying? So it's just
I
like,
don't know what the reason is.
bro,
I need one more one more little tidbit. It will help me a lot.
I promise you, when that happened, I was like, wait. Okay, I understand what the old hag did and you killing her.
Hmm.
And then I think it was some dialogue back then that bothered me about Kaido and respect. Saying he had respect for Odin, and it was just like, all right, fight him again. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
don't shoot him in the middle of his speech. Fight him again. But the thing is, I don't know if Kaido felt like, okay, at that point he's been in this oil for an hour, he's too far gone, whatever.
Hmm.
But I'm like, all right, reset. But then people are like, well, Kaido isn't dumb, right? If he
Right.
felt like he's gonna lose. But the thing is, this matters so much to him. And we saw how Oda brought it back when he was fighting Luffy. It was like, damn, this happened to me again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
And
I'm
he
like,
was happy when Luffy got back up. He's like, I didn't want to
right,
win like that.
right.
So,
So then at that
so for
point,
me, I'm like, does he like new challengers? Is that what it is? Like,
like, you get one chance. But I don't know, he's fought Luffy so many times. So I don't know. That's something that did bother me back then. Back in my live reaction when I talked about it, I was like, I don't know about this Kaido and the respect thing. I do think you respect Odin at this point,
I do.
but I would have liked it if he ran it back
That
because it
that's
was
the only, yeah,
interrupted and because of how
exactly.
much he cares about it. I agree with that.
That's probably my biggest point of contention with him. Like, I think like you should have challenged Odin again because in my
Yeah.
head I'm like, oh, he's gonna let him heal up in the prison cell, let him out, then he's gonna body him. That's I was
The-
convinced. That's what he was gonna
Here's
do.
here's the weird part about it because it's hard to tell, but it seemed like he let Odin even keep his weapons.
Yeah, wasn't it?
'Cause remember, he gave him the Toki. It's either Toki had him and was bringing them to him for him to fight again,
Mhm.
or he had him in the cell and gave him the Toki to give to his kids.
That's a good
So it's
point.
just like, is that confidence that Kaido has? Like, I don't care if he has his weapons again. It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
But it's just it's one of those weird things. But I mean, at that point for the story, if Kaido ran it back, I think it takes away from Odin if he does lose, right? Because then it's like, I think part of Odin's lore and part of Odin's hype is like, bro, if it wasn't for that, he probably would have won, right?
I
It
don't know.
makes
I don't believe that.
a lot of people do,
It's not even to say that they're wrong. I don't think the fight
right?
was going to end like that, bro. Like he wasn't going to
I don't
chop
think
him
that
in
was the end.
half and it's over. Like they going to have to fight tooth and nail. That's what
I don't
basically
think that
what
was
I'm
the end.
saying.
Based off of how doable, I don't think that was the end.
But all things
But
considered, I
no,
actually really liked that moment because I thought it showed the competence of Orochi's like the Kurozomi clan a little bit,
Mhm.
where like he saw his son for a split second and Kaido clubbed him when it happened. So
yeah. I mean, for the Kurozumi, it's about winning.
yeah,
They don't care how they win.
no.
And that same old hag, it seems like she's the one who had the Wano proposition. But it is weird because Kaido somewhat insinuates that Wano was chosen for a specific reason outside of just like weapons and a weapons factory. Where when he talks to Yamato about how ignorant she is, right? About how she wants to open the land of Wano, all this different stuff. So, maybe got to go back and try to piece things together a bit better.
I will read
But
one when it's done again. I'll read it from start to
yeah,
finish.
yeah. But it feels like it was for a different reason because we don't even know about the Oni and how it's connected to Wano, but there has to be some ties because Oda has the whole Punk Hazard thing with the numbers and the Thriller Bark. So it's some connection going on there. Not sure what it is. But like you said, I think this flashback was meant to be abbreviated. I think it was intentionally messy right? Just skipping around a bit, where it's like you can't really pinpoint and put things together.
It's Oda style.
Right. So it's kind of like, okay, when does Oda bring it together? Because even throwing Whitebeard in there, Whitebeard is recruiting for rocks. What is going on? And
There's a
then
character that's shaded that looks like they have a straw hat type hat on. I don't know if you
I
see
think
it.
that was intentional too, because I think it's Big Mom, but Oda knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Oda knows what he's doing by putting this fucking character. But I think based off the dialogue, that's why I think it's Big Mom. I don't think Rocks is saying, Kaido, come quick. It's important. We're going to God Valley, right? Because of how Rocks has been built up to be like this big bad guy that's the leader of all these fucking conquerors.
Yeah.
I doubt he's making a fucking call to Kaido, who at that point is a apprentice on the ship. That's
true.
how I rationalize it. Because how I also look at it as Big Mom.
No, you're right too. And she kind of had the shoulder cloak thing on too.
Yes.
Actually, no, you're right. I think you're right. Actually.
And how I look at it as well as Big Mom's dialogue after was like, Kaido, where the hell did you go? Which shows that she cared about him. You know what I mean? It was like, yo, where'd you go, Kaido? Like, don't screw with me.
Yeah.
Where it's like either she cared or Kaido fucking got the devil fruit and took off type shit. You know what I'm saying?
He said, "Oh,
where it's like,
I'm
you
a
owe
dragon.
me.
I'm out."
Right. Like, you owe me, bro. What are you doing? Where the hell did you go? You're supposed to be my right hand type shit.
Yeah.
But nah, I guess as the chapter continues, we can talk about the rock stuff. That's mired in just vague shit where Oda is being
we'll get that
intentionally
eventually, I think. But
vague.
It's not time yet.
It's on purpose. I don't think it's time. Even with Big Mom, with Kaido there, he still felt like, I don't want it to give you enough yet. We don't know what Rocks actually looks like yet. We still don't know what his face is. It's a silhouette. It's a lot of, just teasing with Rocks. So maybe when Blackbeard shows up, because he has the will as a back or whatever, then we get the full backstory. But that's being teased for a reason. I guess the next thing we can talk about is, I guess, the ending, right? Where, well, first we have CP0 just dipping out of there. What do you think the reason behind that is?
That's actually like one of my favorite panels. He just said, I'm out.
Yeah, he's out, right? He's like, nah, B.
He said, Geppo, I'm out of here. I'm not
it's like, nah, this is above my pay grade, fam. He dips out of there. And then we see the people, they're celebrating, they're asking for, they're making their wishes.
Defeat Kaido.
Defeat Kaido. Yeah, all this different stuff. The Hiyori stuff is thrown in there. I would say the thing that kind of bothered me the most is the Momonosuke thing, because I felt like that should have been highlighted a bit more, because Momonosuke just did an amazing thing. He landed Onigashima.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't even realize that at the first.
Didn't realize it.
I'm like,
didn't realize it.
I'm like, oh wait. I'm like, oh wait, the island is down.
The
it's
island
not
is
still
down.
In the sky. Yeah, I didn't notice it the first time.
Down. And maybe Oda highlights exactly everything that happened in the next chapter. So that's why I'm like, okay, let's wait and see. But I'm like, that's a major moment. Like, he literally had Wano, the country on his shoulders, right? He had the country on his shoulders and he fucking did an amazing thing. But it's overshadowed greatly by all the other shit that's going on, because it's kind of in the side. It's not even like in the main, it's kind of towards the side. And the main thing is Kaido's defeat, which, ended with a big punch. And I know people have heard continuously, well, Oda said that, right?
Yeah.
How do you look at that? This entire ending, Oda's comments, does it bother you? How do you feel about it?
It doesn't bother me because, I think what Oda failed to realize when he said that, I don't know how it was translated. Maybe I'm not quoting him properly. I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, I don't know how to make the fight end, or he can't. People will be disappointed if it's just a punch. And in my head, I'm like, who told you that?
Yeah.
I don't care if he headbutts, kicks, or punches Kaido. That's not my problem. I just want the actual, power scaling to make sense in general and just be palatable. That's the most important thing to me. I think his fist being that big is actually very cool. I have no issue with it. I just think it's a little bit of a run back of the Dofi stuff. Big fist, I'm over you, I punch you back down to earth type of thing.
Yes.
That's the only thing. I just feel a little copy and pasted from the Doflamingo fight. But if you talk about, I do think in a lot of ways, like as a finisher, if this is the end, it's not one of my personal favorites, but ultimately I enjoyed the battle if there's a battle on Wano I enjoyed, it was Kaido and Luffy. It was Spidey, it was over the place. I think I got interrupted a lot in ways I didn't like, but I enjoyed the fight for the most part. So I'm okay. And I'll be very honest, I just want to leave. I'm ready to go. I've been on Wano for so long, I just want to move on.
Longest arc by far. We've been through a lot.
Yeah.
I recently made a video, it's probably going to come out after this, where I was talking about just the steps in the narrative arc,
Yeah.
right? In regards to just everything you have to go through, um, in regards to just building up the story.
Yeah.
And I think we're at the climax. We get to the rising tension, all this different stuff, even exposition. And I would say we were in exposition from Zoe, right?
Yeah.
It's been a lot of exposition, rising tension. Then we get to climax. It's 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 not wrong to expect a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because of how much been built up, how much equity you have in this battle,
You also got
right?
to think about it this way, right?
Yeah,
We're taking down like two emperors, so to speak, or
two.
one emperor. Like the magnitude of this moment is so
It's
significant.
major.
And I'd argue while it's serviceable and things are decent enough, I don't get that feeling of the moment as that grandiose. It's kind of just like he beat another pirate kind of, so at times with the
Yeah,
way it ended. But Kaido, I don't know. I can't explain. Kaido just did enough for me. Like or did enough for me that I think he's preserved the respect of the Yonko. Whereas like
I
I'm
agree with
giving
that.
Law and Big and Kid the W, but that's a ring out win. That's like
Yeah,
me being at full HP and Soul Caliber, but you ring me out. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
yeah,
you won. Don't get twisted. Is win's a win, but like
yeah,
you ain't get my HP to 0. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
and then with Kaido, I like Luffy came back so many times. He's fighting for a while. He had the island floating.
yeah.
He was doing all kinds of stuff,
He
and
was
then
fighting other people.
yeah, and then I'm like, hold on, Luffy bust out a new form, unlock conquerors, all kind of stuff, awaken his devil fruit, and Kaido was like, listen, this power's ridiculous, but you're still not ready. And I'm like,
It's
bro,
still like, yeah,
like,
yeah. So it was like, all right, take it seriously. Don't take it seriously then.
you threw a lightning bolt. He's like, anyways, and then
Yeah,
and by the
yep,
way, the hawk him I found his hockey comment interesting. I really like that comment because I think he
yes,
believes that.
yes.
Because
He
even
believed,
based
yeah,
on
hockey
like
trumps
what you were
everything.
saying, like him having like future sight, yeah, he definitely has trained his hockey up. So
Hmm.
I definitely think he believes that it was thing and getting the Roger reveal was cool. I did have a question for what you thought about Luffy's words when he said,
About,
"My friends can eat as much as they like."
I
Because
think it's Oda just tying it in with Tama.
yeah, okay, so that's what I was thinking. Because like
Yeah,
I can't remember who someone asked me a question and they brought up a theory and I'm like I'm pretty sure he literally just said that because like what's one of the major problems people have in Wano? They have no
they don't
food.
eat.
What
They
happened?
don't
What
eat.
was happening with Tama when he met her? She's not eating.
She wasn't eating.
He ate her
Yeah,
bowl of rice. He
yeah,
stole a bunch of food to feed that village and whatnot. So when he's like the world he wants to make is a world where everyone that he cares about can eat as much as he wants. That's why he said that.
yeah.
I thought some people in my stream at the time were overthinking it.
People were saying that this is Luffy's secret dream that we don't know. The thing that him and
Yeah,
Roger
yeah.
share.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, something about he
Mhm.
wants. I'm like, no, no.
Yeah, I don't
Like
think
he wants
that's
to
what it
be
is.
pirate king and
I don't
free.
think that's
Like
what it
I'm
is.
not trying to hear that. Like he wants to
Yeah.
throw. Oh, someone said he wants to
There's
throw some ultimate party. I'm like, no.
well, the thing is, what I think what people are referencing is like the thing that Oda keeps leaving out because he didn't show us when he said it to Sabo and Ace and they laughed. He didn't show us when Roger said it to Whitebeard and Odin.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't show us when they laughed and they're like, "Yo, he thinks like a child." So
Mm-hmm.
that dream, that's that one thing outside of Luffy being Pirate King that Oda still has not told us that everyone is trying to figure out what it is. The
Interesting.
reason why people are saying the party thing is because I remember O'Hara, the Library of O'Hara, he made a theory
Mm-hmm.
about why he think Luffy's true dream outside of being Pirate King is to throw a party where everyone can attend. Um, which goes into Luffy's personality, ties into the end of arcs, why Luffy always has a party, ties into Skypiea. The moment when we see like Luffy's a silhouette that's similar to the sun god, it's like a whole extensive theory about it, and people start to add on to the theory to believe that Luffy does actually that's his dream. The only thing is like we don't know enough about Roger to somewhat connect it
Mm-hmm.
and say, okay, more so substantiate what Luffy feels with what Roger feels and say, okay, this is something that they have in common, which would be interesting. The party thing. I don't know how I feel about it yet, if that's Luffy's true dream to have a party with the entire world. But, I guess we got to wait and see. The only thing, and the reason why I can say that, see that playing out is, say the final war, right? Say the final war, we have somebody, could be Buggy again, right? Broadcasting everything that's happening
Mm-hmm.
to every single island that's in the One Piece world and they're seeing what's happening. right? Everybody's seeing what's happening. Then at the end, Luffy literally tries to have a party with everybody, and everyone is celebrating at the same time that the fucking celestial dragons are gone. No more celestial tribute. We can finally live the way we want to live. Then everyone literally is celebrating at the same time.
I
You know,
got
we're
you.
like,
Okay.
that's kind of like a scenario where I could see it happening. But I think that's what people are referencing. But I don't think it's to make sure that the world has everything,
Yeah,
all his friends can eat.
Luffy is self-admittedly selfish. What did he say?
Yes,
I'm the type of person that wants to eat all the meat. I don't
right.
want to
That's
share
why I
it.
don't want to be a hero,
I'm
right?
not
That's
trying
why.
to share it.
Yeah.
So
Right,
I
right.
think that would
Yeah.
happen naturally as a result of him doing what he does. Like, and
Yes.
maybe when they celebrate after the war, everyone that he's met along the way is there. But I don't think he
Mhm.
necessarily like, okay, I'm gonna meticulously plan the world's greatest party on earth. Like, no, I don't think
Yeah.
he's thinking like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That'd
Matter
be
of
that'd
fact,
be.
I don't think he thinks very often. He just does. He's a man of action.
I agree with that. I
So
agree with that.
yeah,
Um, I say overall, it's I feel like it's a good chapter, right? I don't think it's nearly as bad as people were saying. Um,
oh my
I
god.
think sometimes digesting it in different settings
Mhm.
helps. Uh, Especially sometimes you can be in an echo chamber where you see too much of the same thing.
Yeah.
You may feel that way. However, some people do feel genuinely that they don't like it. They don't like the ending. It feels anticlimactic. I feel like it is a bit like that, but I think there's more. I definitely believe there's more.
So
We
do
didn't
I.
see the announcer say anything, so it's just like I think it's meant to be that way, even with Kaido's flashback. So overall, I think it's a good chapter.
There's a part of me that wants him to have a slugfest like Zephyr and Luffy did in Shanksy
Oh
in
man,
base
oh
forms,
man,
and like that's
that'd
like
be dope. Because I hate the big attacks. Like I don't hate them, but I'd much rather hands. Like
I,
just
I'm like
you know,
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
have you seen Stampede?
Yes.
When did the movie go to shit?
Hmm. I would argue when Douglas Bullet got so big, it was just
Oh my
absolutely
god! Exactly,
ridiculous.
exactly,
And like
exactly. That's
I enjoyed it when he was not in his little cockpit thing and he was just
oh
fighting all the
man,
supernova. Like, that
oh
was the part.
man.
So
The theater was going crazy,
yeah,
and then they didn't, and then you didn't get that reaction again until Boa Hancock
yeah.
when Hancock did her thing.
Even me, I was like, let's go.
Right? I was
I was
like,
like,
yeah,
for respect, she's
right. I was
nice.
like, what? I was like, okay, this is what we, like. I was like, this is what we're here for. You know what I'm saying? Like when he went
Well,
big
I was
into
here
the,
for
I was like,
Crocodile. I
I,
was there.
I think with Stampede, you knew it was like it was a lot of fan service. So it's like I'm not sure what to expect,
It was a
but I like
celebration
that
movie, in my
Smoker was back.
opinion.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Smoker was back. You had some Yadmos in there. Mihawk was there. I was like, oh shit, right? I was just there for the ride, and so everything that happened with Hancock doing that. But when Bullet went into this big mega, I was like, come on, no, no, no. I think that's when things kind of went down there.
And he's done it a couple times because he even did it with Gil Tesoro when he was in his
Yes,
gold
yes. That's
gold
when it was like,
thingamajig.
no,
And I'm like, I like it's like
no.
it reminds me of video games, right? Where I'm like,
Right.
listen, fighting a big boss, whatever, like fighting like Kronos as like Kratos, I'm slashing his
Mhm,
nail is cool. But like
mhm.
sometimes I just want to fight a human sized enemy. I want to fight Virgil. That's my
When
I have the most fun fighting Virgil as Dante. Like,
I
like
think I haven't finished God of War, the most recent one, but when
mhm.
I was fighting the first dude, the stranger, is that
Yeah,
what he
yeah,
called
yeah,
him?
yeah. I know what you're talking about. I don't
Yeah,
know if you how far you're talking about. I don't spoil his identity, but I know what you're talking about. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
I love that. That was
and he can't
fucking
feel pain.
amazing.
Yeah,
That was amazing. I
yeah,
was like, somebody my size for the
mhm,
most part. It's just like it's not a big boss that I got to dodge and it's just like hands, right?
yeah,
I really enjoyed that. So in One Piece is the same thing. I like when it's like Luffy's fighting somebody, I guess relatively his size because he fought Katakuri and
yeah.
Katakuri dwarfs him
Most people like
considerably.
Luffy's
Most
normal
people will.
size, but the coolest thing about Luffy is because he can stretch. No one's necessarily out of his
It
reach.
doesn't have
It's kind of
any
the most brilliant things
issue.
about being able to make a lot of characters. But he fights bigger
Any
because of
size
B.D.A. For
you
other
can
characters,
stretch.
doesn't work. Cause I'm like Zoro. I'm like, when I really think about how big Zoro. Like I'm tall. I
Yeah.
think how tall is Zoro? 5'10".
So it's 5, yeah, 5'10", 5'11", yeah.
Yeah, like I'm like
The person that's weird is Vista. Vista's supposed to be a fucking huge person. Where Mihawk is relatively normal size, like the same. I think he's 1 centimeter shorter than Shanks. I'm not sure if you've seen the theories that are going around with that, like because King is 1 centimeter taller than Queen, and Zoro is 1 centimeter taller than Sanji. It's a weird thing, but people are saying
Oh,
that's
wow,
representative
wow.
of the it
That's the
goes.
that's the power level. That's what the scouter is saying.
Oh, that's Oda telling you who's stronger. That's what they say.
Okay.
Um, but no, but no, I do think in general with Luffy, it is a very clever way to get around the size thing. That's why Oda feels like he can experiment. Like if you
Yeah.
look at the scaling, where like how Oda says how high, how tall, how big these characters are, it's like this doesn't make any fucking sense over there. Like, why would you say this? And it never matters because he's not gonna draw the characters that big. I think Izo, I think Izo is supposed to be regular sized,
Hmm.
but Kiku is supposed to be a fucking giant. And then when we see them together, they're kind of like they're kind of like the same height.
Even
So
when
you
like he
know,
kind of like shot at King, I'm like King is
right,
like dwarfing you. Like that bullet's tiny.
right.
It's convert to that big
Right.
sword. So
That sword should be as big as fucking Izo, but it is like it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. It's just like it's. I think Oda's he kind of always been there, but I think right now for sure, it's he's like, man, this is my fucking story, right?
mhm.
And I'm doing things so that I stay interested, so that it's still fun for me. Because it's like, I'm sure for him, if he didn't have a power like Luffy's to play around with, and I think he said it. If Luffy didn't have the rubber fruit, I wouldn't be writing the story as long because I can't be as, experimental as I would be. Like if it's a flame fruit, it's kind of like there's only so many things you can do with fire, right? Where for rubber,
Oh,
you can go crazy.
I was I will say like
Are you? I guess you're a fan of Fire Force.
I was gonna say like I will give like Okubo credit. Wait, yeah, Atushi Okubo, yeah, credit because I think that he made fire interesting because he had so many ways of using it in multiple
Yeah,
forms, gas and just regular fire, plasma, smoke, all kind of stuff.
right.
So I do think there's a lot of cool things. And all things considered, I think Ace did a lot of cool stuff with the flame
He
lances and
did
just like fireflies and stuff like that. Like
Fireflies,
but
NK.
I hear you. Like he's made stretching and rubber the coolest power
Come
ever. I
on,
could think of like
come
Plastic
on.
Man. I could think of Reed Richards and stuff, and like
Yeah,
Elastigirl. She thick, but they're not doing it like Luffy, right?
no,
They're not
they're
doing
not.
like he makes that power legitimately look so much fun,
But let me ask
and
you
he's
then.
creative with it. But I have a question for you. Do you
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that
go ahead.
sometimes if the power itself is naturally very creative. So I think that this is one of the lamest versions of magnetism I've ever seen, personally speaking.
Absolutely.
I think,
That, that,
yeah.
but I think he has to do that. He has to dumb it down
Mm,
because it's an amazing power, and you could dominate with this. This could be OP. And so with Kid, I would say I was completely underwhelmed until the laser,
okay.
right? Where I
Real,
was like,
real good.
this is
Real good.
dope.
Yeah.
Right. And I love the North Pole, South Pole things.
That was
And
really cool. The assign, that was dope.
the assigned the quandary he put Big Mom in, where Big
Yeah.
Mom got to the point where she had to fucking pick up
Yeah. The
that
whew, and turn
right
around. I'm like, she
and
a
turn around.
monster.
She's like, oh nah, right? And the thing is, he put in such a quandary with his assign and the different abilities.
Mm,
She had to do that. It was
yeah.
like that's fucking dope. So as simple as Kid seemed to be initially, it's like he has a lot of complex powers, but it's like I wonder if Oda's thinking I cannot have Kid overshadow Luffy, right? Because it's at the end of the day, it's Luffy's story,
Mm-hmm.
but it had kind of like the adverse effect because then everyone outshadowed Kid,
Yeah.
everyone overshadowed Kid because even Killer at one point, I think Kid definitely made up for it, but initially on the rooftop, I was like, I don't know, Kid. Killer just pulled out the sound, this sound
Yeah.
attack, and Kaido. You know what I'm saying? I was impressed the least with Kid. I say that.
Yeah.
Now we're fine though.
My
Now we're fine.
opinion of him hasn't really changed. I'll be very honest. His
Not
stock
really.
hasn't risen or dropped.
I think it's dropped a little bit for me. I'm gonna be
Okay.
honest.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I
I
guess
don't
I
think I
thought.
expected much.
You see, I
I
I
wanted to
thought
though.
I thought he'd be able to compete with Luffy,
Yeah.
right? And then how Udon started, I'm like, oh shit. Oda's saying, you know what I'm
He got
saying?
one hand. They both got the strap.
One hand.
They're moving the same amount of bricks,
I
eating the
was like,
same amount of
okay.
kibidango. Okay. Yeah.
So I thought that Luffy with the two Yonko, I thought Kid would be the leader of the person taking out one,
Mhm.
and they'd have other ancillary parts. But I thought Kid would be the main person, Luffy be the main person taking out Yonko. I never thought it'd be Kid and Law taking out Big Mom and Luffy soloing Kaido. Of course, other things happened. Like Kaido took a lot of damage, well, a lot of attacks.
Yeah.
I would say on the rooftop. So I guess that's how Oda kind of balances it out. But I did not think with Law and Kid fighting Big Mom and then Luffy by himself versus Kaido.
Yeah.
But I guess that's how it should be based on things and how the story's played out.
That's
Like
kind of
Luffy's
that's
just built
kind of why
different.
I wasn't like this. I'm like on pay. Like
Yeah,
I get it. I know
yeah.
portrayal this and that, but I'm like
Mhm.
he's not competing with Luffy in
He's
my
not Monkey
head.
D.
And then
He's not Monkey
he
D.
didn't, and I was like, this is about what I expected. But I did think that his, like with Kid for right now, I do think his backstory with Killer and I like his. What I like about Kid and Luffy a lot is they have so much commonality and overlap.
Yes.
But where they differ so greatly, and I think where they differ is what in a lot of ways makes Kid weaker than him, because of
Yeah.
his inability to trust. And as much as like sometimes trust gets you messed up, Luffy's willingness to rely on other people to do things that he can't do himself is what ultimately makes him so special, because people will aid him, but people
Exactly. I'm sure
turn
people
on
like
Kid. You know what I'm
a
saying?
lot of times. I'm sure for people they're like, "You trust us?" Like, he's like, yeah. Because the thing is, though, what I love with Luffy when he does it is when somebody's like, "Are you sure you can leave that swordsman back?" He's like, "Bro, you don't got to worry about them, right? I believe in them. Let's just do this, right?" When it's something like something crazy that has to happen, the Straw Hats got to all get all this shit figured out. He's like, "Nah, they got it. What do you mean?" And then it's kind of they give it back because
Absolutely.
all the trust that he has in them, they're like, "Nah, we believe in Luffy."
Yeah.
Even with the Katakuri, like he's never lost all this future.
Sonny
They're
said,
like,
"Well, he
"Nah,
about to lose. He about to get his
right,
first
about to
loss
get
today."
his first L." You know what I'm saying? So that belief it goes both ways,
Yeah.
right? I'm sure Kid trusts in his crew,
That's the thing. I
but
think he believes
you
in
know,
his crew, and especially like him
right?
and Killer. But
Yeah,
it's like his distrust of I don't know, because I think you said, I think you're the first person I heard say this, and I totally agree with this. Where like Kid is like Luffy, but he doesn't have the luck.
yeah, yeah.
I definitely
Doesn't
agree.
have the luck.
I definitely agree with that. But I'll say this about Kid, just so for any Kid fans out there, so
His distrust was warranted though, because he
yeah,
saw what happened to him.
yeah,
He got fucking betrayed.
yes. I think he has the right attitude. I honestly, because I really like his attitude. Honestly,
I
he
agree.
talks a lot of
Same.
smack, but I like it because even when Law's like, "How long does that last?" Like, why the hell would I
I
tell
ain't
you?
gonna tell you
You're
that.
next. Like, you're next. Like, when I'm done with her, you guys are all getting
I
these
did love
hands.
that.
Like,
I
but
did
he has
love
the
that.
right attitude. I love it. I thought his constructs were cool. He kind of reminded me of like a metallic Green Lantern, like his
Mhm.
bull, his
Yeah,
rail
yeah,
gun, and the
yep.
little box, the whole thing in, and like his and is it Punk Gibson, the cockpit thing, cool constructs.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that. That's all I got though.
My thing. So you're saying Kid is Russell Westbrook?
What?
Hold on. Is he Russell? Is he Russell Westbrook? Oh dang, that made sense to me.
I love Russ's attitude,
So
man.
do I.
I love it. I love how much he talks shit, how much he goes after it.
100 miles an
That is,
hour.
but that is like, you
But his
just, you
greatest, I
just
guess his greatest
right,
strength is his greatest weakness. Yeah, I kind of,
right, right.
yeah.
You don't got the facilities. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But the confidence, and the talking smack is there. Um, I was saying as well with Luffy, it's just you know as much as it would be cool for Kid to be able to compete, or Law be able to compete, it's like Luffy has much greater tasks to accomplish. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
it's just like
And his
after,
lineage is
after
actually
Kaido,
crazy.
right?
All things considered.
After Kaido, he got to go fight Blackbeard.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And so this is preparation. All the hockey stuff I think is necessary to fight somebody who can take away your devil fruit
Yep,
and
absolutely.
has strongest Logia, the strongest Paramecia, and possibly has another Zoan
And
or another devil fruit.
I have one wild black bear theory.
Yeah.
I think he has a way to do that without having to physically touch you now.
Oh my God.
I think he can like extend like a darkness hand and it grabs you and you can't use it. I think he could do it remotely now. I don't know why I believe that. I could be completely wrong. You could call me out, but I just have this belief that he doesn't know. It's no longer limited to him having to only be in physical contact with you. I don't know why I believe that, but I do.
I'm not mad at that. I had a similar thought, but in a different conceptually. Because I was thinking Blackbeard. Because remember when he used Kurozu, right?
Yeah.
And or when he sucks up all these different things, it goes somewhere because he releases it with liberation, right?
Yeah.
So it seems like it's like a portal of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
What if he can create a portal where he can actually go through wherever?
So like a fourth dimensional ability.
Yeah, like in a certain vicinity. So for him reaching into this portal, his hand can come out of nowhere and fucking grab you.
Okay, okay, I like
You
that.
see what I mean?
I could live with that. I like that. That's still cool.
Where it's like you're not gonna expect it. You're not gonna expect a fucking hand to come out of nowhere and fucking grab you. You know what I mean? Somewhat similar to like Bluno. Now
Yeah,
Bluno could just fucking with his door no me. So Luffy, he has a tall task. Even after fighting Kaido, he then has to go and fight Blackbeard, who has probably gotten so much fucking stronger. So it's like he has a lot more to
I
do.
have so much. I have high hopes for Teach.
I do too, and I think how much care Oda has taken with the Yonko
Mm-hmm.
so far, I don't think he's going to be disappointing.
Neither do I.
Just like I think just for Oda acknowledges and realizes just how much weight being a Yonko means,
Yeah.
and how much weight it has. So for him, it's like even with Big Mom, he could have easily had Law and Kid knock out Big Mom. He's like, no,
He knew better.
nope, nope. He's still like, nope. These people are insane on a different level. They're monsters. And I like how he's portraying the kids though. Big Mom and Kaido, like even as kids, they were literal monsters to the point that they couldn't be controlled and they were had to the people around them just wanted to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And the person and guess who's waiting with open arms to accept them? The world government. Like, no, you can come with us. You can come with us. We'll take you in. Imagine if the world government got Big Mom and Kaido.
The age of piracy is ending.
It's over, right?
This is the great era of peace. That's what the narrators take at the beginning.
Right.
There's no pirates.
Imagine Kaido and Big Mom admirals just patrolling because you probably can control them, but not really, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like they'll
be Garpish.
Right, exactly. But imagine you're like, bro, I'm not committing any crimes because I do not want to possibly have to deal with fucking Kaido or Big Mom. Absolutely. It reminds me of like it'll be like how I'm not sure if you've seen the Batman. But what I loved about it is how they portrayed darkness and how Batman, how he had to utilize darkness and it's like his ally, where for him is creating that vision
fear
of that fear.
He could pop out of a corner or alley at any given
exactly
moment, even though you don't see him.
That's the first time a Batman film ever made me feel that. Yeah. I was like, that makes fucking sense. Maybe it's expounded upon in the comics more, but that's the first time watching Dark Knight or any of the Batman movies. It's like, oh shit, that's really fucking important. Darkness, because he's only one man, right? And Gotham,
because he's a master of fear.
Yes.
That's why the Yellow Lantern rings always go to him because like he'd be a great.
Naya has deep knowledge of these comic stuff. So I'm not even gonna go down that road.
My father, you got me into comics from like 4 years old. So
you see, maybe once I start delving into it, because I think I'm sure some people probably feel that way. I want to get into comics, right?
Yeah.
But there's
it's jarring.
The fear, right? Because I'm like, where the fuck do I start? Because every time I talk to somebody that reads comics, it's always like, well, we got this variant, we got this crossover, we got this Superman, I'm like, wait, so we got like with 10 different Supermans?
It always sucks because like if you just like Batman and you buy 10 issues of Batman, you could read 4 issues, hit issue 5 and you're smack in the middle of an event and you're like, and it's like, read Wonder Woman 16. I'm like, you're like, what? Like,
oh shit.
Yeah.
That's that's a marketing ploy, I guess, to kind of,
because a lot of them are intertwined and interconnected and they have like Justice League team ups and stuff. So sometimes
okay.
But I mean there's a lot of easy jumping points. I can help you out with that. But ultimately I always tell people start with the characters you like. That's the easy thing too. And I'll just tell you what stories to like peep. I got you.
I think for me it's simple. Superman, Batman.
Yeah,
Superman, Batman. And I think I'm also interested in that. I guess the that path, like people after Superman, like for Young Justice, like I enjoyed Superboy. Then for Batman, Nightwing and Robin and that dynamic. You
Mm.
know, I
Red
think I
Hood,
mean
Batgirl.
yeah. I think more than anything, I always enjoyed Batman more than any of them because I think uh I don't know. Batman is just the best one. I don't know. I don't know. I think
Batman resonates with more
I
people, but I'm a Superman guy.
I think I saw you say that before. I think I saw you say that
He's my
before.
favorite. He's my favorite. He's my favorite hero.
I think he used to be. I think Superman used to be. But then I think over time what happened was
You did have the Avi with the Superman shirt on.
right, right, right.
That makes sense.
What happened was I think it might be a tie between him and Batman. But what happened was I think over time his him as a concept got copied by so many different comics or manga or anime or shows in general.
That's a good
It was
point.
just like I appreciated what Batman brought to the table,
Mm.
where it's somebody, no powers, just gadgets, smarts. And in some ways, he always felt like he was the leader that Superman did not want to be. So he was necessary. I don't know how you feel about that.
Superman can be a reluctant leader sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. So
He
Batman always did
reminds
the
me of
things
me
that
in
he
that
wanted
sense.
to.
He's not that he's a bad leader. He's just reluctant because a lot of times he just thinks that a lot of things that he's gonna have to handle is just too dangerous for most people. So,
Okay. That was and I always appreciated about Batman
but
because it's like
Batman is a little reluctant too, just because it takes him a while to learn how to play nice with other people.
right,
Because he's just like,
right.
bro, I go to Gotham, I do what I gotta do on the job.
But it's like I kind of like that because I mean I'm sure I don't know how many people feel this way, but I like the being alone aspect, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of life. You got to go through it by yourself. And Batman is like, I'm gonna figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? I really need nobody.
Superman 2
You know what
being
I'm saying?
alienated on planet Earth. You get the fortress of it's literally called the
Yeah,
fortress of solitude. Like
yeah,
so
yeah,
they both tackle and handle loneliness, but they
yeah,
I say they come from different ends of the spectrum and finally meet in the middle.
for sure. And I think when they when you're introduced to them, they kind of handle loneliness differently, but they give off a different aura
Yeah,
completely on from different ends. It's like for Superman, it's like warm, right? It's
yeah,
warm, bright. For Batman, it's like dark, brooding. It's like, yeah, hey man,
yeah.
I'm here to do a job and to keep it moving. So, yeah, I'm sure people that really enjoyed the Superman Batman tangent. But Naya, I appreciate you joining me, man.
For sure.
This was dope. This is dope. I guess any final thoughts on the chapter?
Yeah, it was like for me, it was better than last week. That's
Yeah,
probably why I probably took it so well. 'Cause I thought last week's chapter was a little redundant. That's the best way for me to explain that chapter. Because I thought
yeah,
some of the stuff they showcased with the people in the island, like I already know they're hungry.
yeah,
It sucks here. I get it. Like I
yeah,
already know.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it didn't interject any extra emotional weight for me.
yeah,
I already felt like yes, Wano is crappy. The animals are poisoned because the water is poisoned. It's
yeah.
wasteland, flower cat. I get it. So, but I'm kind of like ready to move on. I really want to get off this island, so I'm good. I'm cool.
I feel that. I think as much as I've enjoyed Wano, especially in different moments, I'm ready for the next thing, right? And we've been here for a long time. We've been here for a long time, so I think I'm sure most people are, but it's like I want it to be resolved, and I want the conclusion to come about in a way that's palatable.
I generally
You
think
know?
Oda ends his arcs well. I don't I can't particularly think of an
Yeah,
arc where I thought the ending, like, even if I didn't make like the ending of the
the fight.
conflict, the
Yeah, but
literal ending of the arc, I can't think of one that particularly bothers me.
I agree. The only one that I would say was a bit wonky, not wonky, but it was just like, was when Jinbei stayed back in Whole Cake Island. I was like, I want Jinbei to come with us. You know, it was just like
Mm-hmm.
the Big Mom Pirates initially was like, man, how it's like two
I think he
days.
wanted to reintroduce him,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I think he wanted this. I think Oda wanted Kid and Law to see Jinbei join his crew. He's like, bro,
right,
what?
right, right. He wanted that moment where they're like, wait, he
Yeah,
just added a warlord to his fucking crew. Like, what the hell is going on? But nah,
yeah.
I mean, you're right, because with Oda's end of arcs, we get a lot of world stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a lot of okay, this is what's been happening. And this reminds me of Madden or when I used to play NCAA football or even sometimes
I remember those days. But they stopped making
right
those. I think right.
where I enjoyed the season, right? But I look forward to the off season.
Yeah.
Right. I was looking I was looking forward to like where I can improve my team and the draft and all this different shit. But
Mm.
it's like that's kind of like how it is in One Piece where I'm looking forward to All right, what's been going on? What's happening to Sabo? Did Big Mom, did Boy Hancock lose to Kobe? Who did? I mean, I know me hard to
Yeah,
get apprehended, but I'm like, okay, fill me in,
yeah,
and that's like one of the best parts about like the arcs coming to an end, and then bounty raises, right?
yep.
Like, what are the new bounties? Who's gotten a bounty raise since we've been in Wano,
Who's hitting a
right?
Billy?
Who, you know what I'm saying? Like those are the interesting things that people are looking forward to now. So I really can't wait. I know it's gonna be amazing. It's
Yeah, I
gonna be
agree with
amazing.
that. And just to give a quick example for anyone who likes like Korra, it's like I know Korra continues in the comics with Turf War and stuff with Irene Cohen, etc. But
Mhm.
I I have no problem with how Korra ends. I hate how the
Mm.
conflict with Kuvira ends. That's not good to me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would so I would kind of say like the comparison's apt here.
Right. Right. No, for sure. And then that's the thing. I think the arc will end fine, especially with the um I think with everything going on with Joy Boy and the Sun God.
Yeah.
Right, we're gonna have more context. And then I have a weird theory that Vegapunk is actually on one of those ships and he's gonna give some more explanation into devil fruits and smiles
Oh,
um
finally. I mean,
and then we may have a SSG showcase of some
mhm.
sort. So that's like I'm expecting great things
Yeah,
towards the end of the arc. So I'm right there with you. But Naya, I appreciate you joining me. This was amazing. I appreciate it
for sure.
a
Anytime.
lot. Um guys, Naya's channel will be in the title for sure, and then link in description down below. Follow him on Twitter, all that good stuff. And we'll definitely catch y'all in the next one then.
Yeah.
We ain't nothing, I found someone, something special new.
Yeah. Okay, I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.